Hi, this is Randy Berlin again, and Carmel, California, clinical psychologist, and to give you a little information about boundaries and the concept of boundaries and what that means to me, because there's many ways that boundaries are described. The area that I want to go on today and want to focus on today has to do with picking up other people's feelings and noticing that you are actually absorbing, taking on other people's experiences or pains or sadnesses or angers or whatever it may be. And so this is about carried feelings. This is about taking on other people's feelings and then carrying them for them, wanting to help them out, being, thinking we're being a good person. And ultimately, that it's detrimental to everybody's health, ours and as well as theirs. It doesn't really serve either person. So this concept of taking on feelings for others, an example that I think of is if you're in relationship with someone. Many of you may have had the experience where you're with somebody that matters to you. Maybe it's a partner, or maybe it's just a good friend, or maybe it's a family member. And the situation starts out like this. You're in a pretty good mood. You walk in and you say hello to so-and-so. And you can see they're a little distressed, and you say, well, what's going on? And within a relatively short period of time, they start to tell you. And, this aspect of their life is awful. Their boyfriends or girlfriends have left them, wives, husbands, children are in prison or having difficulty with drugs or alcohol, whatever it may be. There's some distress message that comes from this other person that they're obviously struggling with and having difficulty with. They've lost something they loved or someone they loved, or maybe a pet, some is ill or sick, or something's happened to their pet. And they're very depressed and sad, and they're sharing that with you, or maybe they're very angry. Whatever emotions they might be sharing with you, what happens if you don't have any kind of boundaries, any kind of way of filtering the communication, what may happen is that by the time they're done, they feel much better. You can see it. They're lighter. They feel more relieved, they feel like they put some things in perspective, and they finish up and you feel depressed. You feel down, or you feel angry, or you feel frightened. Whatever it is they may have been communicating or sharing with you. That's the concept of taking on other people's feelings. It's a concept of carried feelings, meaning that we come together, I'm feeling pretty light and pretty good about my life. By the time the conversation's over with, they feel better and I feel worse. What's happened is there's been a transfer of emotional states from one person to another, and it becomes something that then becomes my burden to deal with if I picked it up. So the idea here is that I don't want to do that, and for 2 or 3 reasons. First of all, if I take on another person's feeling reality, say the person has 500 pounds of pain, and I'm walking around, maybe I have 50 or 75 pounds of pain, just using this example. And by the time we're through talking, they've dumped about 400. I've ended up with extra 400, so now I got about 475, and they got about 100 pounds of pain. The burden with that is that now I'm so overwhelmed with all these feelings, I don't want to deal with them. So maybe I want to go numb them out. Drink, do drugs, eat some food, eat some snacks, have a bunch of sugar. And that actually makes me feel worse. And the other part of it is I don't end up taking care of my 75 pounds of pain and issues that I had to deal with that didn't get addressed because I'm so overwhelmed by taking on your feelings. The other part of it is that the other person now, since they've been successfully able to dump these things on me, they walk away with 100 pounds, they're feeling pretty good. Ultimately, whatever was causing them distress in their life, they haven't had to deal with any of it. They've just passed it over to me to deal with. Ultimately, that doesn't serve them either because they don't learn how to take care of their own emotional realities about their own lives. And it becomes detrimental to their health and well-being because the only thing they get good at is dumping them on other people. And you've probably known people in your life that they are a constant crisis, they're in a constant crisis mode, and they're desperately looking for somebody to fix them or take care of them. Ultimately, that doesn't serve them because they don't ever have a very satisfying, comfortable life, and it tends to push other people away from them. Either that the person says, oh my God, here's so-and-so, and they're trying to get me to take care of them, And or I say, I've been trying to take care of you and I'm getting really angry because you keep doing the same things over and over again because you're not learning. Well, one of the reasons they're not learning is they're not feeling the full impact of their own choices. So when I take feelings from somebody else, I rob them of motivation. One of the things I've found over the years is that people many times won't move or do anything new unless there's enough distress in their own bodies and they have somebody around that says, you know, it looks like you need to do something about that. I'll be glad to support you to do that for yourself any way you're willing to do it. But I'm not going to fix it for you or try to fix it for you or take the responsibility for these feelings because they're not mine. They're your feelings about your life and what's happened to you in your life. And I don't want to rob you or be disrespectful and say, you know, you're not capable or competent of dealing with your own feelings about your life. I want to give you the message that says, I have confidence that you're capable. I want to encourage you to do that, and I'll be glad to support that any way I can. So taking out other people's feelings, detrimental to me, detrimental to you, so please stop. So whenever you have this opportunity, you start to feel weighted down by somebody else, ask yourself the question and say, wait a minute, am I carrying anybody else's feelings? Whether this makes any sense to you or not. And if you can imagine, whatever comes to mind, yes, I think of Betty or John or Larry or whoever it might be. And just imagine saying to yourself, you know, I feel like I'm taking on your feelings for you. I'm going to give them back. No, thank you. It was a mistake on my part to take them on, so I'm just going to pass them back to you. So if you'll try that a few times, exercise it, see what happens with it. Doesn't necessarily have to make any sense to you. Just notice how you end up feeling afterwards. So anyway, it's nice talking to you again today, and thank you, and I'll be back again. Bye-bye.